this is happening. So, my mom is the best mom in the world. Um, a lot of you might think it's subjective, but it is my truth, and I stand by it. Um, she wasn't just phenomenal, or isn't just phenomenal, but she is both morally and emotionally intelligent. And she taught me that. An example, when I was 4, I am very clumsy, was very clumsy, still is. I broke a cup. My mom asked, "Was it you?" In denial, I shake my head. Of course not. Um, and then she continues to say, I remember very clearly, there's, don't be afraid. There is no fear between us. And as long as you say the truth, I'll never punish you. And that's how she planted in me the sense of truth and justice. Sadly, after that, my world changed. As I grew older, my mom grew weaker. She was diagnosed with a very rare genetic disease, a muscle dystrophy, that was very invasive in women. My reality changed. I started to see a lot of things clearer without her shield. We started going to more hospitals, and that was the first time I was struck by the reality of Sudan's very extremely fragile health system. At the hospital, sometimes there was no electricity. Other times, specialists weren't there. And a lot of times there was no medication. One of the things that really struck me was when she needed surgery, and we couldn't find her blood type, and we had to delay that surgery. My brother actually had to donate to give him another bag in return. And that is just the reality of Sudan, and that was before the war, and now you can imagine. But you know what? I was like, Aseel, we can change this, of course. Very delusional, everyone. I was like, okay, what do I need? Education. How do I help the health system? Okay, let's go into pharmacy school. I do that. I carry my same personality, very active, bubbly, and wanting to do a lot and change. I realized that health goes beyond the walls of the hospitals. Health extends to the community and to the people. And while in school, 19-year-old, I realized people around me were bleaching their skin. And I asked myself, like, what's happening here? And it was more of an endemic, to be fully honest. All these ladies were trying to get lighter to meet impossible society standards, to be suited with better marriage perspective. And it might not make sense to the people in that room, but that was the reality of where I came from. And I was like, yeah, I need to change that. Of course, I took initiative, started this campaign, got a lot of students to follow me, went to random markets, talked to random ladies, and raised awareness. The thing that these women didn't know is that not only did those chemicals make them sick, but it actually was killing them. Not only did we raise awareness, though, we also gave them natural alternatives. It was very big, very influential. I was on local TV for the first time. And then I was like, whoa, this is such a good thing. I want to do this in the future. At that time, ironically, I really didn't know that was public health. I didn't know that was risk communication, but I later came to know. But that's where my passion was birthed like that. But sadly, before I finished pharmacy school, my life actually biggest tragedy till this moment happened, which is I lost my dear mom. May she rest in peace, Allah yarhamah. But I didn't lose her soul, I didn't lose her guidance, and she is still my North Star. And I carry her vision and belief with me. She had big ones. But I still wanted to make change. I still wanted to do bigger. So I joined the Federal Ministry of Health 2 weeks after I graduated at 21, where I started working on national health policies, dream come true. Later on, the pandemic, vaccines. One day, I met a very tiny girl like me in a hallway who introduced me to global health, and I was like, whoa, what? You can do more? And yeah, that was my journey. I became an officer, international representation, representing my country's health disparities in all the global health forums and arenas, from World Health Assembly to UNAIDS, speaking about maternal death, HIV, and everything. And it went beyond, from talking about Sudan's health disparity to the continent, and later on the world, actually. I was like, whoa, this is great. But wait, I'm not making decisions. I didn't like that. I'm very assertive. So I was like, okay, I need to be on the other side. I want to be on that chair. But how do I get there? And that was when I realized I needed a very strong degree. And I started looking into schools, and I found Johns Hopkins, the #1 school in the world, in my opinion. I applied, of course, because, again, delusional. I got in. Yay. Not only that, but I had the Fulbright, which is the best scholarship, 1 out of 3 in the country. I made it, and it was my dream. But one day, that dream vanished, and real quickly, actually. April 15th, 2023, I woke up to a call, don't leave your home. The fighting has started. I later that day realized that that was war. For context, Sudan is a very friendly country. People don't fight, very peaceful, so that was really bizarre. Second day, I wake up into the sounds of missiles. Jumped out of my bed, ran out of windows, which is the only thing I knew. Stay away from the bullets. Stay away from windows, bullets will come. I move away from the windows, but the sound comes closer, and so as the reality of death. I sit on the floor that day, and I say, this is it. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله, the words that Muslims say when they're about to die. But then the thought that was in my head, I was like, hey mom, here I come. But I was also like, okay, I can't die away from my family, my dad, brother, and sister who are in another town. And I also, did I do it all? Did I make the change I wanted in the world? Well, that didn't happen, I'm here. But I am here because my aunt saved me. She was very distressed the day we were trying to flee, but very delusional, me again, and cautiously optimistic, told her, hey, we're gonna be fine, we won't die. Of course, no guarantees, did not know. But she looked at me and she was like, it's not death that I fear, it's other things. As she looked at me and her 10-year-old, and then, for those who didn't understand, is war-related war crimes towards a woman. But I make it safely, I make it home, I stay with my family, but it was only a month, because later on, in a span of 2 hours, my whole life changes. I get a call from my aunt who says, make a decision now, we're leaving to Egypt. And that meant going through the war zone again to try to flee and get my scholarship/visa. Come here, or leave my family. To a lot of you, it's a no-brainer. Of course, leave the war-torn country. But to me, it was my family, and they're my everything. But the words that kept replaying in my head is my mom's last words to me, which was, you need to leave, you need to make it out, because one day will come where everyone will rely on you. And I did, and I made it. And I made it to Johns Hopkins, and I actually did graduate. But through school, it was really hard for me because I pretended to be a normal student, did so well at that, But I always had this idea in the back of, what if I lose my family? Sadly, December 2023, that nightmare came to reality when the militia actually got into my hometown, and I lost communication with my family completely. But they survived. I heard so many things. I was going through finals that day. Oh, you're so strong. Oh, you're so resilient. No, that's not a choice. People like me who are refugees don't have the privilege of being weak. You have to continue. But thankfully, my family makes it. They're safe, they're in Cairo. But war goes beyond just war, safety. My dad's first words are, I'm a refugee. He lost his 60 years of life, of home, my brother, his business, and my sister, her education, which pains me the most because I am here today because of my education. And if you strip everything away from me, you will not take away my education. And that is my armor against the world, for me and for my loved ones. One thing, survivor's guilt, and it is real. Everyone that talked today suffers from it. For every one of us that survived, thousands didn't. And they continue to leave because war continues. But we talk about it, and we live with it every day, but we try. I am here today. I am very grateful, extremely happy, and lucky because of my phenomenal parents who believed in me, my dad who supported me through a patriarchal society to come to this country, my mom's belief and vision for me, which is a crazy one. She thought I could change the world. Very, very tall order for a very tiny person. But hey, I'm trying. And here I am, the daughter of Sudan, and as long as I do have breath left in my body, I will have Sudan on my tongue. Thank you.